Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing another video today with my messy hair because I haven't taken a shower yet, but I'm mentioning that a second time. But anyways, this video is kind of a response to me getting into some bad habits that I'm trying to get away from, and that's arguing politics online, on articles that posted on Facebook and so forth. Now, I'm just going to say this. There's this girl that lives in Germany that I was friends with online from this metal, these metal kind of things like Blabbermouth. And she apparently thinks I'm an incel and hates me. And like, I see like other mutual Facebook friends that I'm still friends with. Like, it could tell that there's like some kind of gossip, or I'm not trying to be paranoid. I'm not trying to sound paranoid, but there's something about me like being this like terrible person or something like that. I'm like, this girl lives in Germany, never met me. I've had a few discussions with her, through chat once or twice. And yet she thinks I'm this type of terrible, problematic person. And the girl that says that she has no real life friends. She's once said that. She's been with two guys. I'm not doxing her and saying who she is. She uses fake names anyways on some of her profiles. So, and it's like, okay, you're going to attack me, who has been making a real attempt the last, at least the last few months, to get out there and be in real life again and not be bogged down by this whole online culture of toxicity and, very anti-human culture is what I see it as, And then, I get into this argument online about politics, and these people that are calling me names and stuff for saying the same. I didn't even attack them, the people themselves, but they said, blocked by. I love when people do that. Like, you never talk to them in real life or virtual life, but they say you're blocked. Like, okay, that's very stunning and brave, sir. Like, you're really able to articulate your argument with me. Like, you're bowing out that fast. Okay, suck on the soy. Okay, that's all I gotta say about that. So it just got me thinking that now, if we talk about online versus real life, like, I hate when people say it's worse when they say they have like they have a girlfriend or boyfriend. I mean, this is mainly like teenagers, I know, but online, like, to me, it's bullshit. Like, if you never met someone in real life, you never stuck your, in to me, that's not a girlfriend. Like, I have a friend that's a virgin that says, my girlfriend at this age, and he's a virgin. That's not a girlfriend. I don't even know if he kissed this girl. That's the thing. Like, I don't even know that. Okay, maybe, he was dating her, but that's not a girl. To me, a girlfriend is someone you've had sex with. I'm sorry. That's just plain and simple as day to me. So, and I hesitate to call people online like, okay, so there's one thing. I'm just going to say this. Like, if a person's online, you have online friends, you have offline friends. Okay, you can separate those two. But if a person's only friends are online, that to me is very problematic. Now, talking about that girl previously from Germany that hates me and thinks I'm an incel and all this stuff, which I could care less, But obviously it did affect me, because it's like, why is all this hatred and like weird, it's kind of strange. I've said a lot of weird stuff on social media over the years, okay? And I understand that. Some of the things are problematic and not articulated the best way or explained in the best way. And sometimes it's a little bit like I have some gripes about ex-girlfriends or women or something like that, but I never get to the point of like incel or like, maybe I get to maybe red pill light, like, women, the double standard about women doing this and men not doing that. That's mainly the thing that I talk about. So I don't know where she gets this incel thing from. Now, the whole thing with regards to what this got me thinking about is how mentally fucking ill people that do most of their stuff online are. Now, you could talk about the last 2.5, 3 years. You could talk about, the amount of mental illness. But the fact of the matter is, if you're doing most of your stuff online, there's a problem. To me, that's not human. Okay, let's talk about Daniel Goleman, who I've talked about in previous videos. There is a element of humanity that has to be in person, in my opinion. Eat the bugs, live in the pod may not work. It's anti-human to me. I mean, that's plain and simple as day. I mean, that's why I talk about it so much, because I've read these books about social psychology and how it bioelectric kind of associations with neurology and how they manifest in real life with real life interaction. Plain and simple. Online is killing our society in many ways. Many ways. The whole online thing. Now, that doesn't mean I'm gonna like quit social media 100% or anything like that. But some of my best friends who have their most successful lives in some ways that I see are not online, or they're rarely online, because they have time to do other shit. These people that are typing on Twitter and doing all these political juvenile debates and all these ad hominem arguments and stuff, and not actually debating the person, just attacking them and calling them right-wing ghouls or left-tards or leftoids or whatever. You know, you can go that route. And I used to go that route back in the earlier days. I was like, I'm gonna do a new song called "Car, Kill All Republicans," like all these just terrible things that I used to say, and I regret that. I really do, because it's just not. It's just not like rhetorically sound and logically sound to be that way. Now you can debate things on their merits or how they are implemented in society in a political fashion in a mature way. Now sometimes you just have to do it. Okay, it just comes out, right? But I see these things, and I commented on this article talking about that stuff and how hypocritical it was to say this or that, and I got attacked and ratioed and stuff, but whatever. It is what it is. People never met me in real life, don't even know the articulation of what I'm saying, the fully articulated response, because all you have is a couple of sentences, or you can't type I don't have time to type a huge novel on Facebook on a thread under an article to really explain everything. I don't have the time in a day to do that. So people will just attack me and say all this stuff. It's like, but you realize you've never met these people in real life. They don't know you. They can't have this face-to-face interaction, this back and forth. The back and forth online is still pretty shitty, and it still will never be as good as real life. I don't think ever. If people say that, they're fucking lying. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but I don't care, because I don't want to. Why fake something so inherently human? Why try to be as close to as to the virtual thing be as close to real life? The eats bugs and live the pod, the virtual reality goggles, the whole image of that. So that whole societal trend towards that, I will defy that by every means possible. And I said that during the last 2 years, for various reasons, because I felt like that's what, even if you agreed with all the measures, the way they were implementing that was going towards that, inadvertently or not. Okay? So I want to defy that. And the way to defy that is to stop talking politics online, as much. Maybe talk about it in real life. Or at least, if someone like trolls my video, say, hey, let's have a debate, on a video, do something like that, instead of like, oh, your teeth are terrible, you should see a dentist, oh, you're so fat, oh, you live in your mom's attic or your mom's basement. I lived in my friend's attic for 8 years, and I paid $400 a month, which is fucking a steal. But yeah, I never lived in my mom since I was like 19. I think I was 19. I moved in with my friend. That was the same friend later. Later, I moved in with the same friend. I lived with him twice or 3 times or whatever. But yeah, I never lived with my mom since I was like 19 or 20. So these people are wrong, first of all. And this girl calling me an incel, she just misunderstands where I'm coming from. She doesn't understand the fully. And I think she liked me a little bit too, for a little bit. But It's like it's just so stupid and foolish and juvenile to base your reality on what happens online. That's the whole point. Like my friend was saying, oh, I don't know if you can handle it if you can't, if you're responding this way to things that are online, if you handle fame and fortune or whatever that I talk about, or we talked about. And I was like, well, maybe it'll grow. Maybe I can grow as a person and get better with it, and that's what I'm trying to say. Because people are trying to say this stuff, trying to tear me. There are people trying to tear me down. I guess this girl from Germany, for whatever reason, I don't know what the hell I did to her, but they think I'm an incel and problematic and dangerous or whatever. It's like whatever. They tell all these metal people and on these who are online most of the time, anyways, this stuff about me or whatever. I don't even know. I don't even care though. It's just like I give a fuck. Like I posted, I don't care about what people think of me that have never been with me, met me in real life. I don't care what they think because they don't know me. They don't have that interplay, that interaction that real life has. They don't know. They don't know me. They might see a video and like make all these assumptions about what I believe or see a post by me and say, or think that I'm this or that, and that's their problem. That's their problem. This girl that doesn't have any real life friends in real life. That's to me, this girl from Germany. To me, that's the most problematic thing ever. She has mental illness and stuff. Has talked about it, and I think that's just a microcosm of the whole thing, of this whole problematic culture, online toxic culture, toxic online culture. It's not incels. It's not, but it's not leftoids either. It's not, it's not Twitter leftoids. It's not incels. It's not like the manosphere. It's not BLM. It's not Antifa, online, nut job people. It's the whole thing. It's toxic. It's the way that we're interacting. It's the way that we are processing things that is problematic. That is dangerous to the human condition. That's what's going on. That's the problem. Not one little thing, wokeism, or not, online right-wing trolls. Any of these things, those little pieces are not the problem. The problem is the enculturation of this superficial online way of communicating. That is what it is. That is the problematic element. Daniel Goleman talks about all this stuff in his books, neurology of real life interaction, all these things. Now, there's nothing wrong with being online or maybe partaking in the conversations or whatever. But the way that it's gone the last few years is very problematic for people. You could almost say this is kind of the problem with like online dating right now, or dating apps, because we've become so like unreal in our interaction that these women use these filters. My friends he's like, two of my friends are like, all one can use apps anymore. It's all online. It's just so hard to find someone online. And one of my friends met a girl in real life, and she's hot. And he was using all these apps for so long, but he just decided to take that step. And that's the way forward out of this bullshit, is that we have to get back to real life interactions, real life debates, Crossfire, William F. Buckley's firing line. What happened to that kind of stuff, And the Overton window got so squeezed together that it was hard to really separate the legitimate debate from just these little disagreements. But that's what we get back to. We got to get back to, and I'm not talking about like a neo-Luddite kind of movement, but we've got to break away from whatever this is going towards. You can say that it's not even a conscious thing, like, oh, eat the bugs, live in a pod, have their VR goggles on all the time. You could say that that's what they're going towards, even inadvertently. You don't have to say it's necessarily something that's conscious that they're going towards. The billionaires want to make their money, of course, but it's just the trend of society that we're going towards this kind of culture, this kind of society in the future, and I'm going to resist it as much as possible. So, this day forward, I will try to reduce my petty online arguments to a minimum. And if people want, I'm still going to do political videos once in a while too, but it's like, if people want to argue with me on my political video or my political point of view, let them do a debate. Instead of saying, talking about my teeth or whatever, that are crooked or whatever, British teeth, British teeth, like the new Judas Priest album. Anyways, anyways, I got a story about that. I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but it's kind of funny. People can talk about how I look or whatever, or how I'm a problematic libertarian, Jewish white nationalist or whatever they think I am. I don't know. I don't even know what these people think. I don't really care anymore about what people think. But this girl in Germany thinks I'm an incel. It's like, it's just, why should I give a flying fuck about what people think of me online? And it's like, if you haven't met me in real life, you don't know, or even have had a phone discussion with me or Zoom or whatever. It's like, the back and forth stuff cannot be replicated online, in my opinion. It just cannot. And this is the society that we have to resist. We have to resist this whole thing. That's what the whole point of this video is about. We have to resist it as much as possible. Go for a walk. If you want to talk about politics with someone, talk about it in real life. Try to explain your things with a well-articulated point of view without resorting to clickbait. I almost said clickbank, but anyways. That's one of my failed occupations as affiliate marketer. I never got off the ground with my Win Her Back for Good, Get Your Ex Back website I had back in the earlier 2010s. But anyways, speaking of clickbait, all these clickbait things, these sensationalist kind of ways of thinking and sensationalist, like just the lowest common denominator kind of thing. We got to get away from that shit. If our society is going to survive, if our civilization will survive, I dare say that it's almost putting us back in a weird, like, post neoliberal dark ages that we could go into at this point. You have people that believe that in the pseudoscientific parts of wokeism, and then you have people that believe in the pseudoscientific parts, things like flat Earth or whatever. You have these two different sides, left and right, have their plenty of pseudoscience on both sides. In my opinion, there's pseudoscience on both sides. I can go into that. I probably will in future videos. But yeah, it's a dangerous time. We got to resist this. And this is one of the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to consciously do that. I'm going to go out, meet people in real life. That's what I've been doing, trying to do it more often now. Back, wasn't going to do it when things were more limited and restricted. I just didn't feel right about it. It just felt weird, and I hated it. I hated doing that, I probably should have done it more. I probably should have just gone out there, but the mandates and stuff, I really couldn't handle a lot of that, So he's protected people, whatever. Anyways, I just couldn't handle it. So, but I think that in overall, the summation of this message is that people that haven't met me in real life, or haven't even had a good discussion with me on, whatever, their opinion should mean shit to me. Shouldn't mean shit to me. I don't know what the common vernacular would be for this, but like, it doesn't matter what someone that has never met me in real life thinks, especially when they're coming from such a tragically subverted place, because this is a microcosm for a lot of people that are online doxing people or ratioing people left and right, and doing it to such an extent that it almost becomes this nihilistic thing that really doesn't solve anything, really doesn't help anything. It just creates more destruction and chaos. Now, I'm a fan of the Red Scare podcast to some extent, but I take them with a grain of salt. I think they've gone into this deep end of this nihilism in some ways too. the two girls that are on there. I'm gonna call them girls. They don't probably care about me calling them girls. I just think it's funny because it kind of fits with their sense of humor, anyways. But this nihilism is happening because of our disconnection from each other, and I don't think they're gone totally off the deep end yet. But I think there's this nihilism with regards to like it's just at all costs your political beliefs are right and everybody else is a what do they call them, right-wing slugs, or leftoids, or you use these terms, and to me here on out I don't think I want to go down that road. I want to I will still point out the hypocrisy of people like I did in the thread that I was on today. But I think going down that road of the toxicity of this modern online culture is a bad thing. And I think it should be resisted. I think it should be, because it's not conducive to a healthy society. Now, the part of society that's unhealthy is what is happening right now. The consensus state of this online culture, the consensus state is, and regardless of what side you're on, regardless of what part of it is, the whole thing is damaged and flawed and destructive. The whole shebang, the whole enchilada is dangerous. I'm gonna have some enchiladas in a minute, but Trader Joe's enchiladas. But anyways, this whole thing is dangerous to our society, to our very nature as humans, I would dare say. And the eat the bugs and live in the pod is just it's not even I'm trying to do the timeline thing. There's a right or left, NLP or whatever, neuro-linguistic programming. So, your timeline is left. Probably this way because I'm in a video where I'm facing me. So the timeline for the Eat the Bugs Live in the Pod thing is not necessarily a conscious overall like conspiratorial thing. It's more where we're headed, But there's also another side, like Gordon White talks about in his podcasts. It's more holistic, more naturalistic, but still with technology intertwined in it. More independent, more almost, I would dare say, libertarian or anarchistic in a way. Society where there is less of this kind of collectivist. I'm not going to call it collectivist, but this collective toxicity. I'll just put it that way. I hate the word toxic, but it is true about this whole thing. So I think that's the society I want to go towards. We just walk in nature. Maybe you have a cell phone, but you don't have to be online all the time. You can just live. I mean, just right now we can live this way. Like, just not be connected to this nexus of hatred and divisiveness. So they're just making the billionaires money. That's all this is doing. This whole thing. It's making billionaires money. That's what this is all about. The bottom line is being fattened by these people writing these articles, and this whole division, this divisiveness. And that's one of my comments on this article, ironically, was about this. But that's what this is all about. This hatred. I mean, and when I talk about, people talk about conspiracy theories, there's conspiracies that happen that are not consciously happening. It's the prevailing trend that is going towards this thing. That's what I talk about, the bugs in the pods. It's not necessarily like Klaus Schwab, like, me too, eat the bugs, live in the pod, this is what I want. This is not necessarily the case. It's not necessarily what he wants, but he thinks it's going towards, so he kind of nudges things in that direction because he thinks like this ideal society is there or whatever. It's not necessarily something he said, he came up with it one day. Eat the bugs, live in the pod. That sounds great. It's just this prevailing trend. The winds of change are going towards that in a lot of ways. And that's probably part of the whole thing about these people. They're reacting to what's happening, not necessarily not necessarily acting upon it to make it happen. That's my whole point about that. It's a lot of what people get wrong about truth culture and about even the people within truth culture don't actually understand that that's part of what it is about them. I'm sure like people like James Corbett probably do, but I'm just saying, like, or Derek Brosey, but people like Jones or people like that, Ike or whoever, they might not understand this whole thing, or maybe they're just making money, so much money from it that they don't care about putting in those terms. But yeah, that's my whole pronouncement about on this video, is that I need to step away from all that bullshit. I mean, it's damaged my life, especially the last 2 or 3 years. When I had a girlfriend, I was online all the time, having these debates. Shortly before that, I was taking breaks from all that too, and it was kind of a good time for me because I was disconnecting. I was like, I'm not going to watch This is when I was in the Young Turks. Just pardon my embarrassing admission. I'm not going to watch Young Turks for a month. I'm not going to watch political videos for a month, and I did it. I think at least 3 weeks, not a month. But it's like one of those things. Like, take a break from all this toxicity and live your life. Like, I listened to the new Blind Guardian. I didn't go on a video or anything like that. Like, these habits are bad. These habits are what create the thing that's maybe closer to incel in a way, because I'm partaking in this toxicity, which this girl is well versed into because all her friends are online. But anyways, that's about all.